The complete works of Swami Vivekananda, address by Swami Vivekananda at Calcutta, Part 2. Again, I want to make another statement before this assembly. My work in England has been more satisfactory to me than my work in America. The bold, brave, and steady Englishman, if I may use the expression, with his skull a little thicker than those of other people. If he has once an idea put in his brain, it never comes out. And the immense practicality and energy of the race makes it sprout up and immediately bear fruit. It is not so in any other country. That immense practicality, that immense vitality of the race, you do not see anywhere else. There is less of imagination but more of work. And who knows the wellspring, the mainspring of the English heart? How much of the imagination and of feeling is there? They are a nation of heroes. They are the true Kshatriyas. Their education is to hide their feelings and never to show them. From their childhood, they have been educated up to that. Seldom you will find an Englishman manifesting feeling, nay, even an Englishwoman. I have seen Englishwomen go to work and do deeds which would stagger the bravest of Bengalis to follow. But with all this heroic superstructure, behind this covering of the fighter, there is a deep spring of feeling in the English heart. If you once know how to reach it, if you get there, if you have personal contact and mix with them, he will open his heart. He is your friend forever. He is your servant. Therefore, in my opinion, my work in England has been more satisfactory than anywhere else. I firmly believe that if I should die tomorrow, the work in England would not die and would go on expanding all the time. Brothers, you have touched another chord in my heart, the deepest of all, and that is the mention of my teacher, my master, my hero, my ideal, my God in life, Sri Ramakrishna Paramhans. If there has been anything achieved by me, my thoughts or words or deeds, if from my lips has ever fallen one word that has helped anyone in the world, I lay no claim to it. It was his. But if there have been curses falling from my lips, if there has been hatred coming out of me, it is all mine and not his. All that has been weak has been mine, and all that is life-giving, strengthening, pure and holy has been his inspiration, his words, and he himself. Yes, my friends, the world has yet to know that man. We read in the history about the world about prophets and their lives, and these come down to us through centuries of writings and workings by their disciples. Through thousands of years of chiseling and modeling, the lives of great prophets of yore come down to us. And yet, in my opinion, not one stands so high in brilliance as that life which I saw with my own eyes, under whose shadow I have lived, and at whose feet I have learnt everything. The life of Ramakrishna Paramhans. Friends, you all know the celebrated saying of the Gita. Whenever, O descendant of Bharata, there is decline of Dharma, I shall rise forth. The saying is, Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutthanam madharmasya tadatmanam smrijamyaham paritranaye sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharm sanstapanathaya sambhavami yuge yuge. Whenever, O descendant of Bharata, there is a decline of dharma and rise of adharma, then I body myself forth for the protection of the good and for the destruction of the wicked, and for the establishment of dharma I come into being in every age. Along with this, you have to understand one thing more. Such a thing is before us today. Before one of these tidal waves of spirituality comes, there are whirlpools of lesser manifestations all over society. One of these comes up at first unknown, unperceived, and unthought of, assuming proportion, swallowing as it were and assimilating all the other little whirlpools, becoming immense, becoming a tidal wave, and falling upon society with a power which none can resist. Such is happening before us. If you have eyes, you will see it. If your heart is open, you will receive it. If you are truth seekers, you will find it. Blind, indeed, is a man who does not see the signs of the day. This boy, born out of poor Brahmin priests, is in an out of the way village of which very few of you have even heard, is literally being worshipped in lands which have been fulminating against heathen worship for centuries. Whose power is it? Is it mine or yours? It is none else than the power which was manifested here as Ramakrishna Paramhans. For you and I and sages and prophets, nay, even incarnations, the whole universe are but manifestations of power more or less individualized, more or less concentrated. Here has been a manifestation of an immense power, just the very beginning of whose workings we are seeing. And before this generation passes away, you will see the more wonderful workings of that power. It has just come in time for the regeneration of India. For we forget from time to time the vital power that must always work in India. Each nation has its own peculiar method of work. Some work through politics, some through social reforms, some through other lines. With us, religion is the only ground along which we can move. The Englishman can understand even religion through politics. Perhaps the American can understand even religion through social reforms. But the Hindu can understand even politics when it is given through religion. Sociology must come through religion. Everything must come through religion. For that is the theme. The rest are the variations in the national life music. And that is what is in danger. It seems that we are going to change this theme in our national life. That we are going to exchange the backbone of our existence, as it were. That we are trying to replace a spiritual by political backbone. And if we could have succeeded, the result would have been annihilation. But it was not to be. So this power became manifest. I do not care in light of what you understand about this great sage. It matters not how much you pay respect to him. But I challenge you face to face with the facts that here is a manifestation of the most marvelous power that has been for several centuries in India. And it is your duty as Hindus to study this power, to find what has been done for the regeneration, for the good of India, and for the good of the whole human race through it. Long before the ideals of universe, religion, and brotherly feeling between different sects were mooted and discussed in any country of the world, here in sight of this city had been living a man whose whole life was a parliament of religions, as it should be.